I got the job of summing up from the veg centre table, which had the topic of "Are you being served?" And I've attempted to gather together some disparate points here. The first one to come up was some reflection on the need for some more, formal arrangements for industry input into R&D directions. Recent years, Horticulture Australia in the veg sector has taken very much a national approach, which is totally understandable from a levy perspective, but the Tasmanian industry sometimes feels that it has some issues that are not dealt with under that structure. We had the fortune to have at our table some people, some nutritionists from within the uni, from the School of Health, and that generated a wee bit of discussion about the opportunities for market expansion in vegetables. The reality is that if the Australian population actually lifted its consumption to the 5+2 diet that's recommended, we would double vegetable consumption, because the average at the moment is actually less than 2.4 serves per person. So there are opportunities there for some significant market expansion, and a point that came out from the nutritional people was, particularly in some socio-economic groups, the difficulty of accessing vegetables, so sort of local supply hub type issues. Extension always gets a bit of a run when veggie people get together, and I think it was Dougal who mentioned in the perennial hort area, the extension model is very much to deal with consultants and other service providers, and that's pretty much the way the veg group works within TIA. The point was made, and once again, I don't want to slam Horticulture Australia too much, but there has been a bit of a history in the veg sector of providing funds for research, but not for the bits that follow on. And so oftentimes there's not a follow-on from research into the development and extension area. What else we got? Scale and viability is a big issue in the veg sector. Farms tend not to be big, but the reality is that viability is not going to be, the pathway to viability is not necessarily going to be increased farm size, but it could well be issues around collaboration and cooperation between growers and things like that. And lastly, a point that sort of overlaps with some of the Sense T stuff, and we had this discussion when I sat at the Sense T table, and the quote here is that technology is a key to efficient communication, but it needs to deliver information and not data. And that's, I think, a key thing that came out in our Sense T discussion, is that there are truckloads of data out there that you can get, but what the guy in the paddock wants is something in his hand that'll help him make a decision.